Have you ever let a minor inconvenience completely ruin your entire day? Don't worry, we've all been there. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a highly concentrated, profoundly impactful piece on perspective from November of 2022. It's a short piece, sure, but the ideas packed into it carry an incredible amount of weight. We're going to explore a very specific worldview, one that directly challenges our default settings when it comes to facing everyday frustrations. So get comfortable, and let's get ready to actually change the way we look at our own lives. Okay, let's jump right in by focusing on the title of the piece itself. Just 3 words. Gratitude can see. I want to let that sink in for a second. We usually think of gratitude as a feeling, right? Like an emotion that just kind of happens to us after something good occurs. But right out of the gate, the author is giving gratitude an active, almost physical quality. It has vision. It's a lens. But before we really get into the mechanics of how this works, we need to understand the worldview of the woman who wrote this, because her background completely reframes how we should read her philosophy.
Section 1. Meet Oluyomi Oladavid. Author background. Let's establish exactly who we are learning from today.
When we look at the professional footprint of Oluyomi Oladavid, we find a fascinating mix of content. She publishes technical insights, policy briefs, opinion articles, and contemplations, which is exactly where our focus lies today. She brings a highly strategic yet deeply caring perspective to her work. She isn't just writing empty platitudes here, she's a thinker who actively analyzes systems, and that makes her personal philosophy on gratitude incredibly grounded.
Based on her own profile, she's a Nigerian who states, plain and simple, that she loves people. She's deeply concerned with massive, macro-level issues like global development and transformation. She's a solutions-oriented thinker who actually enjoys influencing policy and providing clarity. And anchoring all of this is her faith. She describes God as owning and ruling the universe, poetically calling him the wheel within my wheels. Now, the reason this matters for our explainer today is that when a woman who tackles heavy, complex global policies writes a piece about gratitude, we should probably pay close attention. She approaches the world's heaviest issues with profound clarity, and she applies that exact same analytical, solutions-driven mindset to the human condition.
Section 2. The problem of grumbling, blindness to blessings. Because she is a solutions-oriented thinker, let's look at how she diagnoses this common flaw.
So the absolutely crucial point she makes here is that our tendency to complain isn't just a bad mood or a quirky personality trait. She frames it as a literal blindness. Just look at her quote. Whenever we are blind to our blessings, we tend to grumble. The grumbling is really just the symptom. The actual disease is the blindness. We are literally unable to see the good things we already possess. Remember the title of the piece, Gratitude Can See? Well, here she's establishing the exact opposite. Ingratitude, or grumbling, is blindness. It's a total failure of vision.
Section 3. Blessings in disguise, a strategic pivot. If blindness and grumbling are the core problem, how does she propose we shift our perspective? Let's look at the next phase.
This brilliantly illustrates her duality. On one side, we have the default human setting, seeing problems. You know, a delayed flight ruins your whole week, or a minor setback completely derails your project. It leads straight to that grumbling and blindness we just talked about. But on the other side, she introduces the solution, seeing blessings in disguise. She writes, if we always see problems as blessings in disguise, we will live graciously grateful. It's a strategic pivot. She's arguing that by actively choosing to reclassify our problems, we unlock a completely different way of living. We move from being victims of our circumstances to being graciously grateful. It is a deliberate, tactical choice to change the label on our own experiences.
Section 4. Gratitude as vision, seeing beyond. Let's move to the culmination of her brief piece and see how this builds into an active concept of gratitude.
This is the true core of her message. She defines gratitude not as a passive feeling of thankfulness, but as an active tool. She writes, gratitude is an expression of vision, and we all need eyes that see beyond the obvious. Think about how powerful that is. The obvious things are the stress, the delays, the policy failures, all those global development issues she works on every single day. The obvious is often negative. But gratitude, that's a superpower that allows you to see past the immediate roadblock. It's an expression of vision. By practicing gratitude, she argues that you are actually training your eyes to perceive reality on a much deeper, more constructive level. Oluyomi Oladavid closes her piece simply by wishing her readers a grateful week ahead, signing off with a hashtag and a peace sign. But honestly, she leaves us with a lingering challenge inspired by this visionary approach. If gratitude is sight and grumbling is blindness,
then the ball is entirely in our court. You have to actively choose to look past those immediate frustrations. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question based directly on her philosophy. Will you choose to see beyond the obvious this week? Think about it, and let that perspective transform your days. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.